Guys, welcome to my channel, and in this particular video I am going to tell you how we can add Google authentication as well as email authentication into our Flutter app. Definitely it will be with the help of Firebase as our backend, and as you can see, this is our last output, and we will be implementing both signing with Google as well as signing with email and password. And again we will be implementing all the field validations as well, as you can see on the screen. And when this all fields are validated enough, then only one can move forward to authentication and sign up process, and upon successful sign up they will be forward to the dashboard screen. And you can also see in the Firebase all the users credentials are stored. And I have made another video where I will be telling how we can add Firebase to our Flutter project, and you can see that in the description below or from the I button. These are all the basic packages that we are going to need in the project. And this is a simple Flutter project, simple boilerplate Flutter project. Let us start with first creating a directory named screen, where all our screen widgets and screens are going to be reside. First, let us create one login screen dart file, and let that be also included in the main dart file also. I have also deleted all the junk code there as well. And here I have increased the speed because this is going to be a basic UI implementation in Flutter, and obviously you guys need to have basic knowledge about all the basic widgets and widgets that Flutter provide, like columns and rows and elevated buttons. Basically what I am doing is here calling different or making different instance of classes, and you can also call different constructors of different classes, like the .icon, elevated button .icon. There I am calling .icon constructor, and with Flutter 2.0 and in the latest versions they force us to use whenever possible constant constructor. Definitely they will help in rendering stuff. And they are all as per the requirements and how beautiful you want your UI to be. For the icons, I have also included one extended library called Firebase. Not Firebase, it's a Font Awesome for icons like envelope and Google. Now since we have implemented the UI, now let me create one directory called providers. So what I have done is I have somewhat manage the state with the help of provider state management library. You guys must have some basic idea about that, about state management and what the provider provide us. There are other state management techniques like block patterns, and provider is good for beginners. So here I am making one class Google sign-in provider. Yes, that in pubspec YAML file will be there will be have provider package. You need to include that as well. And that Google sign-in provider has to there with a mixin called change notifier. Again, these things are basically are in the documentation of how we can create one class and add it to our Flutter project. what I have done here is I have implemented all the needed methods in the Google sign-in provider class. And again, you need to have some asynchronous programming knowledge of asynchronous programming concept. In main method, you need to have include that widgets flutter binding dot ensure initialize, so that all the functionality happens after the app is been initialized. Again, so as to get benefits of that provider, we need to include that provider at the topmost level, and what good as compared to include it at the topmost level, that is at the material app. And there for safer side, I am also always including multi-provider, so that in case in future we need to include another provider, there will be space for that. So I have included that Google sign-in provider there. And again, first we need to have connection well enough established between our Firebase, so that I have included their future builder, and for in place of that their future as a function, I am passing there as initialize app. And meanwhile, and while the app is in loading phase, I will be showing that circular notification at the center of the screen. Okay. Circular progress bar indicator. Sorry. So that was all how we will be including that Firebase, and also with the help of that providers. Now let us go into that login screen Dart file, where we need to call that function that we have just implemented, that is the sign in. Since that method is async in nature, again that on-press argument will be getting an async function. And since provider package make available that single instance throughout the project, so we need to call that method upon that instance. And since this method need not to watch that class all the time, that instance all the time, that's why I am passing or making that flag listen as false. Again, I am making a reference variable which will be pointing to first to that instance that is provided by the provider. We can name it anything as per our need. Let me give it a name like gold provider, and upon that provider, that provider, that reference is nothing but pointing to the instance that provider is providing us. Okay, there we will be calling that sign in Google login. Okay, sorry, Google login method. Okay, and since this method can take some time, again we need to add one await in front of it. Again, this method can cause some exceptions in the runtime, therefore I am surrounding it in a try and catch block. Again, it will be good if we will make that login function separate. That will not make our code cumbersome. Let me cut from here and make a separate function here with the name login. And here, as you can see, we need to pass context, build context, but we can make the widget stateful widget, and that will solve the issue for us. Okay, so here we will be calling that login function, and here just I am on exception, I am printing the errors. So this is the function. So let us try whatever we have implemented so far, and here I just hot reloaded. Again, what you can do is not just hot reload, reinstall the application, because all the dependencies and all stuffs that we have made, that provider at the topmost level will do their function as fine when we reinstall the application. And so you can see the application is now rebuilded, and upon clicking on the sign in wala button, it is functioning well. And let me check in the Firebase as well. Upon refreshing, there should come the credential with that email ID. Yes, it has came and what functionality we wanted at the end from the function is now implemented. Okay, now let us implement that sign in with email sign up screen. And yes, it is a basic UI implementation. Again I'm making another screen for it with columns. And for field validation, I have included another external library called form validations. And just I have increased the speed a little bit because it's just a simple implementation. There you need to know about forms and text form field and controller and all that stuff. And yes, I have done some decorations in the input field, and just giving the hint tag like a placeholder and making that its border rounded rectangle, that outline border. And let us now, upon clicking that button, let us move the application to the next screen, that is the email sign up screen. And yes, it is now going. Let me put that text field to some lowers and the center. Yes, for validations, first we need to make one form key reference and pass it to the form instance. There with the help of that package, we can provide to each and every text form field a particular or multiple validations, like a require validation or email validation. In case of that email wala text field, I have put there. And in case of that passwords, and it's a common trend that password need to have at least 6 character long, that I'm following the same stuff here. And it is just a text that will be prompt when user put some wrong. And in case of that email, let us make that keyboard a email address type. We need to initialize the reference as well as the time of declaration. Okay, so as you can see, the fields are now working. And let us have one elevated button in the center. Upon clicking, will be sign up the user. Okay, so this is just the UI. and here I'm making one sign up. First we will be checking the current state and is the state is okay or not. And you can see when I am putting wrong emails or wrong password, it is prompting us the error text. Now the UI is ready, and we need to make another method for email sign in, and it is nothing different from that Google sign in wala code. That's why I'm copy and paste, and yes, it will be this function will require two argument, that is the email and password. And just we need to call sign in with the email and password upon that instance, Firebase on that Firebase dot instance, and we need to pass their email and password. And yes, the function has been completed, and again that will be called as same. First we need, as I forget, I need to make another control for the password text field also. My bad. And then in try catch block, because this code can run into exceptions, with the help of that Flutter, with the help of that provider package, we will be getting that common instance with the same flag as false. Then we will be getting that instance, and upon that instance we will be calling that sign with the email wala functions. Okay. And yes, I am now just refactoring the code, getting the value which has been stored with the help of that text form fields like email and passwords, and then we will be passing this to string objects to that our method. Okay. And again, this text editing control need to initialize at the time of declaration. Keep a note of this, and this instance need to be final. Finals are nothing but I think so they are runtime constants. Yes. And this function is also again await, and just for now I am in catch, I am just printing. Again, we need to enable that email and password sign up in the Firebase, and just I'm checking. It's giving some valid emails and password, and on click okay, I think I have made some errors. I think that sign in with email and password method that we called upon in that instance of Firebase Auth is wrong. Yes, it is enabled here, and no, yes, this, yes, I need to call that create user with the email and password, whatever that method from that instance, not the sign in with email and password, that will log in the user to the application. Yes, I'm wrong there. So keep a note that you need to call create user with email and password rather than sign in with the user and password. Okay, in case of signing up user with email and password. Okay, so now I'm just doing some extra works here, like during that loading time, what our state needs to be in, like during loading the UI should show a progress indicator, and here I have just made one loading variable, which is initially it is false, and first I am into login screen where there is sign in with Google wala button, and first in this with the help of the set state function I am setting the loading as true, and upon finishing the functionality of that method I am again setting that method as that flag as that loading variable as false. and upon exception I am showing some snake bars from the lower side of the screen, and for that I am making one helper directory, and in that I am making one snow snake bar method, which will be easy for us to call it from any part of the code. Just a refactoring of code or better practice, and with the help of the scaffold messenger of context, I'm making one snake bar. And this function will require two arguments like build context, context of build context type, and text of some string type. Okay, just add one exclamation for null safety, and I'm just calling that function. Upon some error or exception, if some exceptions happen, then show that this snake bar to the user, and again that whatever the exception text. Okay, let us make another screen like dashboard that I have showed in the initial or output video, that upon successful sign up the state will forward this to this screen like dashboard. It is a simple screen for now, just a app bar with the text of a dashboard. Okay, and we are getting this all lint wala error because of some Flutter guidelines. Okay, so this is await because, and upon successful login I'm just passing this app to the dashboard screen. Okay, again calling that constant constructor of it. I have not made any name routers here, just anonymously calling all the routers because it's a small project. Okay, that same thing we will doing in email sign up screen as well. Here also the state can be in loading time, so again for that I am creating one loading variable which is also initially going to be false, and as per the state it is going from state of true to from state of false to true and true to false. Okay, again one thing I have missed is just altering that variable is not enough. We need to conditionally calls conditionally render the loader, and again I am refactoring it and making one common loader widget. Okay, so as per the condition it will be showing a loader or a button. Okay, we need to add here as well loader, and I think I have missed it in the login screen as well. There I need to include that conditions or ternary operator as well. Hope it will work as desired, and let us check. Let us pass a validated email and password and check. Yes, the button is working as fine, and okay, now it is not okay, we have not add that navigator.push method in the email sign up wala screen. Okay, let us put that as well here. Yes, it is working good. It